welcome back. As the world's rich and powerful gather in Davos, citizens around the world are demanding for solutions to rising inequality. According to Oxfam, 82% of the wealth generated last year went to the richest, which is just 1% of the global population. Despite celebrating its 48th annual meeting, some activists in Kenya say the World Economic Forum has failed to curb the rising wealth gap.
As champagne and caviar wash down tough talk of world problems in Davos, the stench of rotten rubbish lingers over an alternative summit in Kenya aimed at tackling the chasm between rich and poor. The Kenyan slum of Dandora is known for its fetid garbage mountain and for this week only playing host to campaigners who are fed up with top-table talk and say they see scant action at ground level where it matters most. The annual World Economic Forum in the plush Swiss ski resort of Davos brings together politicians and billionaires, corporates and celebrities for 4 days of summitry on the world's most pressing issues like global inequality.
Well, it's interesting that the World Economic Forum itself has for the past several years continued to list inequality as one of the world's major challenges, and the World Economic Forum itself says it isn't getting any better. So by their own account, they're not fixing it. But also they have an interest in not fixing it. It's very nice to go to a fancy gathering and over caviar and champagne talk about why every child should go to school and every mum deserves good healthcare. But those same bosses, when they lobby for corporate tax holidays, are taking away money from countries that would go into that very same health and education. So we will not find a deliverance from the scourge of inequality from those who are, in fact, seeking to make it worse.
Located on the outskirts of eastern Nairobi, Dandora slum is a stark example of the inequalities faced by millions worldwide. Established in 1977 and partially funded by the World Bank with the aim of offering a higher standard of housing, the area has become the Kenyan capital's principal dumping ground. Many of Dandora's thousands of residents eke out a living on the tip, collecting recyclable waste such as plastic bottles for a daily wage of about 200 Kenyan shillings. Young people and campaigners in Nairobi are organizing the Usawa Festival or Equality Festival in Dandora on Saturday, with music and dance deployed to highlight social problems and engage people.
There are people in Nairobi who've never been to Dandora. They don't know what's happening here. They don't know how people live here. The only thing they know is the things they see on TV and people just talking word of mouth. So through our music, we are able to expose Dandora to the world.
Right now, actually, is to make sure that these people understand that actually things are not supposed to be like this. They're supposed to be way better than this.
The number of super rich in Kenya is among the fastest growing in the world, and Oxfam predicts the number of millionaires in Kenya will grow by 80% over the next decade.
Before the emergence of artificial intelligence, managers and executives have had to rely on inconsistent and incomplete data in several business functions such as marketing and distribution. Artificial intelligence has been able to hasten processes and provide decision makers with reliable insight. According to Gartner, a marketing research organization, today's data is set to balloon up to 800% by 2020. And with this, you get about 80% of unstructured data made up of images, emails, audio clips, and the like. Well, joining us to discuss how artificial intelligence will change the future of business decision-making is the Vice President of Evisort, Onwudiwe Meme. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me. Much appreciated for your time.
So tell us, how does AI help businesses in making the right decisions?
So AI in a lot of different ways can really help drive business decisions. There's both revenue neutral and revenue positive ways. So if you really look at it, there's a lot of data within, let's say for contracts, for instance, because that's kind of what we work on. Data about when is a renewal date coming up, you know, for a deal that you've had in the past. Right now, people are manually tasked with going through and keeping track of this. And if someone slips up, you might forget to call someone when you need to renew a contract, or a contract will auto-renew, and you'll call them and have them, once again, reconsidering whether or not to do that contract. So in a situation like that, being able to go in and have artificial intelligence quicker, cheaper, and more accurately than humans kind of pull out data from this unstructured data and tell you what exactly your obligations are legally can help drive business decisions and making sure that you get all of the kind of dollars from transactions that you should be getting.
You say about many CEOs who might be reluctant to hand over decision-making duties to predictive models and algorithms.
Yes, and that's, I think the Gartner report that you spoke about earlier also said that only about 30% of CEOs at this time are really relying on these kinds of big data kind of decision-making tools. But I'll tell you, there's a difference when it comes to using AI between the predictive analysis and the ending judgment. And I think you'll find time and time again that while the AI does do it better when it comes to bringing out these predictions on, what will be happening after looking at far and wide lots of data and seeing patterns that humans can't see, you do need a human at the other end actually making the call. And it's kind of this using AI to enhance the functions of humans where it's most powerful.
Now, let's talk about Nigeria now. How can businesses take more advantage of AI when making a decision?
Well, the first thing that you need to do is put your data in a format that lets AI run through it. So, for example, right now, it could be possible that lots of businesses in Nigeria are still using paper. And they're still, even if they are using digital formats, they're using PDFs in kind of scanned versions where you can't highlight the text. The first thing that you need to do is maybe in that case get some type of optical character recognition software where it pulls out the text and then it can be analyzed by AI. The real task is to make sure that your data is in a format that it can be read over by the artificial intelligence. And once you have it in a format that makes it usable and workable in that way, you can start receiving the benefits from that analysis. And I do think Nigeria should be looking to kind of move in this direction, because by taking this kind of stance, it's really an aggressive forward stance, but it at least forces you to digitize in the first place, which is really an important first step if you want to start to get some of the benefits of this new technology coming out and driving the future of business operations.
Now, some have argued that there might be loss of jobs as a result of this new development. Do you agree with that?
I think it's still very early to see what the effects will be. There's definitely right now, there's definitely types of work that just normatively is better for artificial intelligence. When it comes to kind of going through thousands of documents, looking for different versions or looking for specific terms or sorting things. From that case, it's definitely better to have artificial intelligence working on that than right now we have humans getting through it who will be tired, who might have just a little bit of fatigue going through it. But it is important to state that while the cost of making these predictions goes down, it is possible that you'll see an expanse on the other side of more of a need for decision making, more of a need for analytical tools, and the skills that human beings can uniquely bring to the table becoming more valuable. And that's what we're finding in the legal space, where we're really opening up time for general counsels to spend more time doing complex legal analysis and less time just kind of looking for documents that they could have put somewhere that they don't know where.
The Vice President of Evisort, Wudiwe Meme, many thanks for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And that's our program today. Thank you for watching. I am Bisi Adebayo.